Sandy's Blasting Bronco is a compact Intamin launch coaster located at Nickelodeon Universe in the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. Like everything else at Nickelodeon Universe, this was built with the park. However, this one had a couple extra problems along the way, and so it actually had a delayed opening. The park initially opened towards the end of 2019. Sandy's Blasting Bronco didn't open until the following year in 2020. The first time I went to American Dream, I got to see this thing test, and it looked great. It looked like a really cool ride experience, and it was only until a couple months ago that I actually got to experience the attraction, because this thing is notorious for being unreliable. It's like a total bonus if you show up at Nickelodeon Universe and Sandy's is actually open. I'm not sure what exactly about it is causing the problems, but I was just happy to experience it, and I thoroughly enjoyed this attraction. This is going to be my full in-depth look about it. I'm going to tell you what you can expect should you go to American Dream and happen to catch Sandy's when it's operating. But the first thing really worth mentioning here is that this is almost like a new model for Intamin roller coasters. They've officially entered that compact steel launch coaster game. Sandy's can now stand alongside the premier Skyrocket 2s. S&S has their multi-launch coaster with Gale Force. Zamperla has theirs with the Double Heart. We still have yet to see one of those actually open yet, but I'm sure it will happen eventually. This is becoming a pretty competitive market for those mid-sized parks looking for a good thrill ride in a small amount of space. So I think the goal with this attraction was how can we deliver the maximum amount of thrills possible in this very, very small footprint. And let me tell you what, they delivered. Sandy's Blasting Bronco is punchy. It is forceful, and it's a decently long ride experience for what it is. I mean, we're looking at just over 1,600 feet of track, but it works because it goes forwards and backwards. Sandy's big feature is that it has a turntable. So you go through the entire layout forwards, it then flips you around, and then you go through it all over again backwards. And I really do not think that this experience would be anywhere near as good if it did not have the backwards portion. I think the backwards section is what makes this ride. Because if you remove that section immediately and just look at the forward section, it's good, but it would be very short, it would be kind of underwhelming. And at a park like Nickelodeon Universe, where you either pay a pretty high price tag to do all of the attractions, or you pay per ride, you want to make sure that you're getting your money's worth. So the longer, more fulfilling experiences are going to be more worth it long term. Now that Nickelodeon Universe is officially free to enter, I think people are a lot more likely to pay just to do this ride. And I would say that Sandy's Blasting Bronco is the best ride at this park. Even more so than the massive Gerstlauer Eurofighter across the Midway with Shellraiser. But if you've seen my review of Shellraiser, you know that that ride definitely has its issues, is not the smoothest ride experience, and you know, neither is Sandy's. It absolutely has its shaky moments, primarily in the valleys. So when you're getting some of those positive G-forces, it'll rattle you around a bit. And that's noticeable whether you're going forwards or backwards. But I didn't let that stop me from enjoying the ride experience. So let's walk through each of these different elements. There's not too many of them, but they're still fun. So when you board your train, first of all, you got lap bars only. That makes it feel very open and freeing, which is great for this rollover inversion right here when you're just like hanging out. I'd say that's probably my favorite moment in the layout specifically. But it's a shorter train, only 12 riders at a time. Because of the way this coaster is set up, of course, it can only operate with one train. But the one time I went to Nickelodeon Universe when Sandy's was operating, it did not have a line at all, so we didn't even have to wait for this attraction. So you pull down the restraint, the ride-ups give the all clear. You hear a voice about how you're getting ready to go, but weirdly enough, that voice is not Sandy Cheeks. That was a little strange. It's called Sandy's Blasting Bronco. Why was it a dude talking? I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. But immediately, straight out of the station, you're going to enter your launch, hit your max speed of about 48 miles per hour in around 2 seconds. So it's a very quick acceleration. It has to be quick. Look at the amount of space they have to work with. It's a very compact launch section, but it catches you off guard. The first time experiencing that, I was like, whoa, that was a fast jump. Your first inversion is going to be an Immelman. You're launched straight up towards the ceiling and then you twist out to the side. If you're in the front of the train, you'll kind of dangle there for a second. If you're in the back, you'll get whipped over. This valley right here coming out of that element is by far the shakiest moment on the coaster. I don't know why that part specifically got so rough, but the whole thing might as well have been going side to side. But it only lasts for a second or two because you're immediately then heading back up towards the ceiling, doing the same thing again. It's another Immelman. It's those two elements right there that kind of form the infinity symbol that is this roller coaster. But But the ride doesn't end there. You enter another valley. This is going to be naturally kind of another section that's a little shaky. Maybe it's all the forces of the train, those positive G's hitting that one spot. You just feel it more because you then don't feel it at all in this next element. You start to enter what would be a third Immelman, except instead of dropping down, this time you stay parallel with the ground, flipping over. So you go upside down, you hang there, and then you go into, it's like the second half of a dive loop, and that's the brakes. But the way it's designed makes it feel like one continuous motion. It's a very smooth transition, but when you hit those brakes, man, does it remind you of Full Throttle at Six Flags Magic Mountain. You're coming to a stop with not a lot of warning. It is very sudden. You're going to slide forward. A lot of people at this point think that the ride is over because you're back where you started. So a lot of the ride-ops will then shout out, one more time, all right, we're going again. And that's so that the riders know, hey, remain seated. The ride's not done yet. You lock in place and then you swiftly rotate around. So if you're in the front of the train before, you're now in the back. So you essentially get a front row and a back row ride every single time. So if before you were getting some hang time, now when you go backwards, you're going to get pulled through everything. So that makes this pretty re-rideable. I won't go through each of these elements again as I talk about this backwards section, but let me just say, this launch facing backwards feels very different. You take that same exact rate of acceleration, but when you're facing the other direction, it feels even more forceful, even more surprising. You're like, holy crap. It might be the most forceful backwards launch I've ever felt. Like, think about when you go backwards on those Skyrocket 2s. It's a pretty gradual sensation because they're slowly building up speed. But I like what Intamin did here because you reach your max speed straight away. There's none of this back and forth buildup. So it's a very different approach from those compact steel coasters like we've seen with some of these other manufacturers. So maybe that's why I like this one so much, because it felt different. But you know, as much as I enjoyed this coaster, I wouldn't say it was one that I wanted to do a bunch of times consecutively. I absolutely want to do it again after the first time I rode it, but I wouldn't say this was a coaster I'd like to marathon. I don't typically get motion sick on rides ever. And I'm not saying that I did on this one. However, it was kind of dizzying after a while. And I'm not sure what specifically about that would cause that to happen, but I was not the only one who was kind of feeling that after a couple rides. I was like, okay, I need to step away, do something else. We can come back here later. It was a sensation that I'm honestly not used to feeling. I can normally sit on a roller coaster for just cycle after cycle and be totally fine. But this is one that I would probably pass on doing that for. But if you're the type of person that typically rides a roller coaster, you know, once, maybe twice, then move on to the next attraction, I think you'll be totally fine with this. But if you are a bit more susceptible to that, maybe just have some Aleve ready or a water bottle, something like that. So for Sandy's final score, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable roller coaster. I think the parts that exceeded my expectations were primarily the launch, both forwards and backwards. I like the overall concept of it. I like that it was different from all of those other compact steel coasters. I think 100% my main critique with this attraction is the smoothness. I'm not sure if that's a track issue, train issue, or foundation issue, or some combination of the three. But whatever it is, I hope that they're able to solve that if they decide to build more of these, which I think this layout is going to have some appeal if you're a mid-sized park looking for a good thrill ride. I would take this over a Skyrocket too. Totally. You go upside down more times, it's more forceful, and it's a lap bar. Granted, the Skyrocket 2s can have a lap bar, but a lot of them don't. At the very least, though, the trains are more comfortable. You actually have legroom here. So a lot of pros to this attraction. Definitely not a perfect one by any means, but it's fun. I think you can ride this thing and have a good time. I know it often gets overshadowed because of the stats and the size of Shellraiser, but this thing will sneak up on you. It's better than you probably expect. Unless I just totally overhyped it for you and now you'll be underwhelmed. But hey, you'll just have to let me know down in the comments below if you've ridden Sandy's Blasting Bronco, if you agree with the points that I've brought up, if you disagree with me, or if you're planning on going out to ride it. Hopefully this review helped you. If you're new to this channel, I hope that you check out other coaster reviews. They're all available in a playlist organized in alphabetical order by the coaster's name. So be sure to go check that out. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.